everybody, it's me, Jermaine, and I'm back with another Simple Truth update. And once again, I'm out and about trying to take care of a few things. Today, for those of us that honor the Sabbath, it is what we call preparation day. So I'm running a few errands, and while I was running these errands, I had a thought, and I really wanted to share with you something that is on my mind, and I wonder if you have noticed it yourself. Now, this morning, the Simple Truth is going to be a bit interactive. I want to ask you to do something for me, and that is, I want you to kind of, in your mind, go back a little bit. Go back a few years. For some of us, it may be a few more years, but I want you to go back a few years, and I want you to see if you can remember the days of elementary school and maybe even junior high, or depending on your age group, you may have called it middle school. And the greatest number, the biggest majority, the biggest majority of us weren't fortunate enough to be able to be raised in a situation where we had homeschooling. We were reared up and raised up when it comes to education in the public school system, or the public indoctrination system, or as you've heard me say many times before, the public fool system, because they fooled us with a lot of the things that they taught us. So with that in mind, I want you to remember what it was like where, somewhere right around maybe midday, when it was lunchtime, you'd hear a bell ring, and then once you heard that bell ring, you went outside and you did something that was called recess. Do you remember that? And then maybe sometime just before it was time to go home, you do that same thing again. That gave the teachers an opportunity to be able to, that gave the teachers an opportunity to get away from the children, and the children an opportunity to get away from the teachers. But now, in the infinite wisdom of those that are thinking for us, for those of us that allow that to happen, and that is the powers that be, the local governments, and ultimately the federal government. A few years ago, they decided that it was more beneficial and more cost-effective to slash and cut recess from most school curriculums. That, with what we have going on in our society, where childhood obesity, childhood diabetes, childhood heart problems, and high blood pressure is massively, the numbers skewed toward the bad side for these type of conditions. And it all stems because most children and a lot of adults today are doing a lot of this, and they're in front of that one-eyed monster. And if you don't know what this is, that means they're Xboxing, doing the PlayStation thing, or even just computer type games, but they are not doing any physical exercise. They're not getting out, and they are not doing anything. But then, here you have a program that comes along, and the NFL, this other private corporation, is going to care for its fans and the children out there, and they institute this program called Play 60, where the program is intended for children to get 60 minutes a day of exercise outside of the house.
Hey, Cam, thanks a lot for coming to my school today.
No problem, Nate.
I promise to exercise and eat right.
Don't forget 60 minutes of play a day, right?
And I'll grow up to be big and strong like you.
Absolutely.
And play in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
And be drafted #1.
Maybe.
Become the starting quarterback of the Panthers.
Okay.
You can be my backup.
Excuse me?
And make Panthers fans forget about you.
What?
And become your mom's favorite player.
Whoa.
I'm just loosening my arm.
Well, I'm not an advocate of the public indoctrination system or the public school system. But prior to the changes that the federal government made, this was already built into the curriculum. But I guess that, we're not as individuals smart enough to be able to go and take what they give us initially and be able to remain somewhat healthy from that. No, we need a corporation to come along, another corporation to come along. And if you want to know what I mean by another corporation, do some due diligence on the United States of America. That's another side note for you. But yet, it takes the NFL to have this grand program to be able to care for the children. Let me ask this. For those of us that are out there that are parents, what happened to getting your children out of the house to do something? Whether it be to, as we would say back in the day, play. Maybe go play some, toss the football around, maybe hit a baseball. If you live in the hood like I was raised, maybe some stickball or some alley football. But what happened to the parents' responsibility in keeping their children active? I remember when video games first came out, and the only time that I was allowed to play those video games was when it was raining or extremely, let me rephrase, and let me make sure that I make this very clear. Not rephrase, but make clear. It had to be extremely cold outside or rainy, because when it was snow and a little bit of chill in the air, we still had to go outside and spend some time out of the house. But see, the simple truth of the whole matter is, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not see that the system is beginning to think, rethink, and then think some more for the individuals who are indoctrinated into the way that they believe you should do something. They tell you one thing, then they take it away, and then they bring it back some other way. The simple truth of the whole matter is, when are we going to begin to think for ourselves and quit allowing what others think to be the way we think? This has been the simple truth. And as I always tell you, it's the simple things that are oftentimes the most profound, but yet they're the most difficult to put into practice and to actually do. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again on another episode real soon. Got to get out of here.